So, prior to the release of Modern Warfare, we had a handful of Infinity Ward employees constantly taking to social media to talk about the game and just answer various questions. But then, after the game released, it seemed like some of that dev communication kind of died down a bit, and in the time since, there's been a lot less interaction between the devs and the community all around. However, earlier this past week, Joel Emsley took to Reddit to answer quite a few questions about the game in its current state. And because of this little Q&A, if you will, we now have a ton of information regarding some pretty big changes we can expect to see pretty soon. But before we jump into those, hey hi, how you doing? If you are new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news and intel, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when I post a new video. And of course, if you enjoyed this one at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And now let's get into the major changes coming to the game in the near future. So, first and foremost, let's talk about a change that could be coming to Ground War sometime soon, as Joel Emsley ended up mentioning a feature that we initially thought was going to be a part of the mode when it first launched back in October, but ultimately just never came to fruition. Ground War was originally revealed with the ability to have larger party sizes, consisting of 8 to 12 players at a time. But of course, as we all know, right now you can only have a party size of up to 4 players, which is equal to the size of one squad in-game. Presumably there were some complications in play when it came to splitting a party into multiple squads or something like that, and thus we haven't seen a larger party size made available yet. But have no fear, a Reddit user ended up asking Joel, could we get 8-player parties and maybe toggle a chat between the 2 squads, or some kind of other proximity chat for those 8-player parties? And to this, Joel responded with, I don't know details about what's actually being prioritized in this area, but I totally agree with the concept of 8 to 12 player parties and 4-player squads being broken out of said parties. I'll keep after it. Then he goes on to explain the various problems that could occur leading to the feature being delayed for the time being. But essentially what we got out of this response is that Joel and the IW team are informed of the change, and they appear to be working on it, seeing as he says, I'll keep after it, implying that it is something that is already being looked into. Unfortunately though, there is no real date specified here, so it is really just a waiting game for now. Moving on from that though, we then get into the next major change that honestly is something that I am really looking forward to, and that is the idea of combining multiple blueprints to create these kind of Frankenstein weapons as they're described. Here, a Reddit user asked Joel if we could see the ability to use different skins across different weapons added in, seeing as some of the coolest skins and camos in the game are exclusive to one weapon, leaving them to be a little lackluster. Now to this, we got the response of, at some point in the future, we're hoping to let you combine different blueprint attachments together to Frankenstein weapons, then apply different camos on them. It is really buggy though, so I don't have an answer as to when this update will actually be available, but we are working on the problem. Then there is also a little part 2 to this one as well, as another user replied to Joel's response and asked if we could get some solid camos and also be able to apply them on various parts of the weapon. And to this, Joel responded simply with, totally agree with this, meaning this could also very well come to fruition too. So out of these responses, we now know that the option to combine blueprints is going to be coming to the game down the road, and presumably universal camos outside of the basic challenge ones for gold and whatnot are going to be added in as well. That is one thing I am kind of bummed that we don't have yet, as camos in a first-person shooter are one of the main cosmetics that are actually useful, and to only have weapon-specific camos as of right now is a little bit of a drawback, but it appears that'll be resolved when these fixes are implemented into the game. Now jumping into change number 3 that's coming soon, we've got more custom classes. This is obviously a very hot topic in the community right now, and honestly has been for some time. So I'm sure this is really good news for a lot of players out there, and Joel did confirm that we are getting more custom classes, actually sooner than you might think. On a Reddit thread regarding more custom classes being added in, Joel commented saying, you and everyone else that commented on this are right. It's in mainline back at the studio and we've been tinkering with it. I'm not sure which update it's in, but I think it's the next. Now, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say the next update we're going to see is going to fall on Tuesday, January 7th. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that is a brand new title update, so that means as early as this upcoming Tuesday, we could be getting some more additional created class slots. However, it should be noted, there is no specification on how these extra classes will be added in, whether they'll be unlocked through officer ranks or through the store or through something else entirely. As of now, we just don't know, and we are going to have to wait and see. Now, in addition to that, we also got word that there should be a fix incoming to combat the pretty apparent Recon Drone challenge tracking issue that has been screwing up challenge progression for quite a few players. I know there's some missions that require you to mark enemies with a Recon drone, and there is also an officer challenge for Season 1 that requires that to be done as well. And Joel commented on the bug and said, "Not my area of expertise, but I just spotted this. The best I can do is just send it to QA. More than likely it's already been bugged and they are working on the problem, but it doesn't hurt to send anyways." So obviously it's going to help a ton now that an actual IW employee is relaying the problem to QA, but also this bug has been so apparent recently and so many people have already brought it up that it should be well on its way to getting fixed in the very near future, potentially even with Tuesday's update as well, so we're going to have to be on the lookout for that. Anyways, jumping into the next change we can expect to see further on down the road, this one is another two-parter if you will. Someone ended up asking Joel if we'd see any more weapon and killstreak balancing updates, to which he responded with, "I don't know exactly, but tweaks, balancing, and bug fixing are an ongoing effort. AKA, if there is a thing that appears to be too broken or too overpowered or too underpowered, they will likely change it." Then to add on to that, the M4 was also brought up specifically, and Joel mentioned that he thinks the M4 is an incredibly versatile weapon, and he sees a wide range of players using other weapons too. But in the overall interest of the game, there could be future adjustments there as well. So while this conversation is somewhat vague, it essentially confirms that more buffs and nerfs to weapons and even other elements of the game will be coming throughout the remainder of the year where necessary. Now, changes number 6 and 7 for today are a bit of a recap from our update video last Tuesday, but sticking with the theme of upcoming changes, for anyone who missed them previously, they are definitely worth bringing up. Here, Joel was asked about the potential return of the fan favorite Diamond Camo, which of course we've seen a handful of times in the past, including last year with BO4. And to this, Joel responded with, "You're right, I'll look into it first thing when I'm back from vacation." So this simply confirms that the idea of Diamond Camo being added into the game is now going to be worked on in the coming days and weeks, which honestly I'm all for, especially if it is an earnable camo and not one that is just bought from the store. However, as far as how it could actually be implemented, we really have no idea. It could be a grindable camo, it could be a blueprint camo specific to one weapon and one weapon alone, it could be a universal camo that's unlocked in the next battle pass. Once again, we're really just going to have to wait and see there. Then, to close out the changes that are confirmed to be coming soon, Joel also mentioned that they'll be looking into adjusting how gold camo looks on certain weapons, because it is definitely not as flashy as some players would like it to be on a handful of the weapons we have available. So we will probably be seeing some adjustments there too. Also, while we are on the topic of camos, one other thing that Joel brought up is that they don't plan, or at least they don't want, to go crazy with future cosmetics. Someone asked why we have a pink AK variant if we're supposed to be sticking with realism, and Joel said pink AKs exist and that he's okay with weapons being painted in various ways, so long as the materials are physically based and look like real materials. However, it is also a struggle for him to get into Tron lights and animated camos, and that he would like to avoid that stuff for as long as possible. So it seems like we won't see any crazy animated camos or more outlandish cosmetics like that anytime soon if things go to plan. Now, on top of all of that, there were also a few other things that I was honestly kind of surprised weren't addressed, and so I just wanted to bring them up here briefly to get them out there, on the off chance we can actually make a positive impact on the game with this video. The first major unaddressed problem I've run into a lot is the newly added player collision that just seems extra bad in Ground War. Constantly running into your teammates is beyond obnoxious, and it definitely was not a thing before, so hopefully that gets removed in the near future. And also another Ground War specific issue is the various out-of-the-map exploits that are prominent on Krovnik farmland outside of the C flag and on port next to the B flag building, so ideally those get looked into as well. But anyways, with all of that being said, those are effectively all of the major changes that we can expect to see come to the game in the next few days and weeks, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, including all the latest news and intel, updates and leaks, and pretty much everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when I post a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.